Are we rolling? Yes. Alright guys, so welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to be doing some outdoor graphing, and it's going to be on the US economy before and after the coronavirus. Before being like November 2019 and after being like today, I guess you could say. So our befores are going to be A's and our afters are going to be B's for all of them. So looking at square one, we got the production possibilities curve, capital goods on the y-axis, consumer goods on the x-axis. Before in November, the US economy was on A, which is efficient with the E, because we're doing pretty good right there. We're not overextended, and we're not in like unemployment bad area where we are right now here in B. That's where we currently are. As a bunch of people are unemployed, they don't have jobs, and the economy is going pretty bad. Pretty bad. All right. So our next square, we got the business cycle. Let me focus here so you can kind of see. We got time here on the x-axis, GDPR, which is real GDP per year on the y-axis. We got our growth trend line, and zooming in right here, we got our blue line, which you can, boom, look at that, GDPR line right there, real GDP. And so on the top of those lines, we got peak, we got another peak. I know it's hard to see, I'm sorry about that. On the bottom, we got our troughs. Oops, we have one trough right there. And then, so in each one, from peak to peak makes up one business cycle. Can you see that? I shouldn't have chosen green. My bad. But yeah, on the peaks, it goes down until we get one business cycle. Let me try to focus it. Boom, you can kind of see it there a bit. And so from the peak to the trough right here, this whole thing is a recession. RECO period, because I couldn't fit recession in. That's the first part of the business cycle right here, because we're going down in the economy, and from the trough to the peak is the recovery part of the one business cycle, because we're going back. The economy is doing good. So before, oops, I messed up my other one over here. All right, so before in November, let me fix the lighting. There you go. We were along A, which is on the growth trend line. Oops, and I mean, we could be a little bit above on inflation, because inflation, I mean, it's pretty hard to control inflation and whatever. But yeah, for the most part, we're on the growth trend line perfectly. And yeah, so again, I don't know if I mentioned this, but above the line is inflation. Inflation occurs, and below the line, in the troughs, unemployment occurs. Unemployment. That's what it says right there. And so right now, B, we're in unemployment. And so I put it not at the trough, the very bottom of the part, but like a little bit below. But like, yeah, not right there, but right there, I would say, because we haven't reached that part where the economy's finally started to turn back, as more and more people, currently over like 20 million people are unemployed right now. All right, so how are we doing on battery? We're still good. So our aggregate demand, aggregate supply graph right here. We got long run aggregate supply, real GDP on the X, price levels on the Y. And so before, we were right there. That A point right there. So we're doing pretty good economy. Economy stabilized right there. But now aggregate demand has decreased. As you guys can see the arrows. That's why we drew our AD2. Aggregate demand has decreased, resulting in point B. Boom, look at that. Boom. That's pretty good. And point B. And that's because consumer spending has decreased as people stay home. And while people like stock up and hoard, that spending is not going to outweigh what the spending, what we normally would have. So that's why the government's doing like fiscal policy and doing the stimulus packages so people get money back to spend and stuff like that. That's why they're opening the country again. And so we have our Q1 from the point 1, and then we go down. It's hard to see a bit, but we got our Q, let's zoom in, Q2 right there. From this one, from our point B. And we got a price level 2, price level 1 right there. And so yeah, we're in a recessionary period as we're on the left of the long run aggregate supply line. And so finally, our last square is Phillips curve. Whew, I gotta fly. Okay, so on our x-axis we have unemployment. On our y we got inflation. That's inflation right there. And so we got the short run Phillips curve going right like that. Boom. And so before, in the economy, we're at U1 and %1. We're doing pretty good. We're in the middle of the Phillips curve and the short run Phillips curve, or the long run Phillips curve and the short run Phillips curve. Whew, I'm out of breath. Okay, yeah, we're doing pretty good. We're right in the middle. But then after the coronavirus, we're at point B right now. I mean, you can see it in person, but on the camera it looks kind of bad. All right, we're at point B right there, which is lower, far down on the short run Phillips curve. And so we got U2 right there, and going all the way this way, we got %2 right there on the inflation. And that's because unemployment has increased as the farther we go out, right? So we're at the natural rate of unemployment here, which is like 4 to 6, although sometimes we're at 3 or whatever, right? But yeah, for the most part, we're at the natural rate of unemployment, but now we keep going more and more unemployed, so we're gonna keep going right. And so that's where we are right now. And how do I say this? If you take a closer look at the graphs, you can see all the graphs are related through, they both express the unemployment rate for the most part and how the economy is doing, like if we're in an inflationary or a recessionary period, pretty much for the most part, right? So back to this one, right? So right here it's stabilized, but when we go below the graph, this is unemployment. All this area is inefficient with the I, inefficient. This is bad. You don't want to be here. You want to be above the line, and our goal is to get over here, but have the line go out there, right? We don't just want to be like that, whatever, right? Okay, so going back to this one. This one is this one's like the most OP one because it says everything, like literally everything on it. Okay, maybe not everything, but like you get the point, right? So it shows how we're actually in the unemployment graph right here. We're below the growth trend line. We're in the troughs right now. We're not at the trough yet, which is the bottom point, the bottom peak, if that's even a thing, the trough, right? We're not at the trough yet, but we're in unemployment, like how this one was in unemployment. Going to this one, this whole section is unemployment, while this is inflationary, and we are in unemployment right now. As you guys can tell, like a lot of the U.S. labor force is unemployed right now. And then this one, this graph's kind of like, sort of like a flip. So if you get my thumb, boom, we flip it, look at that, the dots line up. Boom, look at that. So right there, on point B, it's unemployment again. So as we go further past unemployed, I mean, okay, honestly, we're probably like super far out here with 20% if this is the natural rate from 4 to 6, but we're going to say this is like, yeah, over 20, like, no, not 20%, 20 million, chill. We're going to say this is like, what, a lot of people, right? We're going to say it's proportional. It's not accurate, but that's where we are, right? And so all the graphs express our unemployment rate. If you can see them, unemployment, this whole section down here is unemployment, and this whole part right there is unemployment. And that's pretty much it, guys. If I left something out, please let me know. But yeah, guys, thanks.